You went from front desk girl to shampoo girl and
to assistant to finally, but then I was an assistant, but they wouldn't let me do hair or anything in there until I got my California license. So I had to go back to school over here. So I was like, I gotta go back to school. I'm not gonna be able to work. How we gonna pay bills? Because at this time I was maybe like 2 months in, and Brandon still didn't have a job.
Hey, it's your girl Nancy Red, and this is season 4 of Mompreneurs, where we celebrate beautiful Black entrepreneurs who are also amazing moms. Now, every week I'm chatting with my guests about how they're killing it simultaneously as a business mogul and as a mom, and we're listening to their inspiring journeys and incredible advice. Now, y'all, all mompreneurs would love for their business to go viral, especially when it's celebrating creativity. And that's exactly what happened to my next guest, Montara Taslim, aka Tuki, from TikTok and IG, and her amazing Los Angeles salon, Tookie Did It. Now, we all fell in love with her when she blew up the internet with her fantastic braided fantasies. You all know about the braided baldy, okay? And this LA-based trendsetter, salon owner, influencer, book writer, and brand new mom, she's now a mom of 2, is here with us to share more. Welcome, Tuki.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Tuki, what's in your hand right now?
My little fidgeter.
Is that a flat iron?
No. Also, my daughter, she actually broke my tripod, so I have her little personalized little stool holding it up, and I have this in my hand because it's like a little fidgeter, so I'm just like fidgeting, but keeping it like right there.
I thought you were literally at this point doing hair while talking to me. And I was like, this is a businesswoman, y'all. She's not even stopping for the interview. But I'm so glad you're here. I've been following you on social media for so long. We're so excited about your success. But I know a lot about you. But for people who are just learning all about Tookie Did It, which is the name of her salon and all of her social handles, talk to us about your personal life. Who puts the mom in mompreneur for you? Who all's in your household?
Oh, right now I'm married. I've been with my husband for 17 years. This year make 18 years. We've been married for 7, going on 8 years. Insane. Doesn't even feel like it. And then my daughter Bloom, she's 3, and then I just gave birth to my son. His name is Rhythm, and he is 6 weeks. And it's just, yeah.
That's incredible. You have a lot going on, and congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Ever since you became a mom, things have just really, really ramped up business-wise. But before you became a mom with Bloom, who's now 3, were you really into business? Was it a dream of yours to open up a salon, to go viral on the internet?
No, not at all. I never really even, believe it or not, wanted to do hair. Like, I really just did it as a hobby on the side. And we lived in Gainesville, and then we ended up moving to Orlando because I wanted to move to California, but not for hair. I just wanted to live here. I was like, this is where the stars at. This is where I want to be. So I always manifested that we was going to be in California. And I would tell my husband, like, oh, we got to go there. We got to go there. He always said no. So we went to Orlando. And when I was in Orlando, I was working for a bank, but it wasn't really working out for me. And my mom was just like, because my mom does hair, and she was just like, go to cosmetology school. I was like, cosmetology school? I'm a braider. Like, I don't want to do that. And she taught me into it, and I went, and that's when it opened my eyes to like, oh my God, you can do so many other things besides being behind the chair as a cosmetologist. So yeah, that's how we got here. Yeah.
And what year was that?
That was 2000. I think I graduated cosmetology school 2017. And my first trip ever to California was like a little mini vacation because I won something called like Beacon with Paul Mitchell, because that's where I went, Paul Mitchell, Orlando. I won like their Beacon thing, and they sent us to Vegas for like 3 days. And I was like, hey, California's like a hop and a skip away, so we might as well just go over there for like a week for vacation, and came over here and was just like in awe.
That's amazing. So you came here, but yet you still weren't sure about a lot of things. You didn't know you were opening up a salon. You didn't even know you were having children yet.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. It was really by just coming over here and just living the life and living the California life, I guess, because I'm a country girl, so I wanted to live like the city life,
That's exactly what I did. I wanted so badly to go to Malibu Beach and see
Yes.
all the stars. I was so
Yes.
disappointed. Me and the little country self from Virginia, I was so disappointed.
Yes.
It was not what I anticipated. It's not what it's like on TV.
It's not at all. And at first, I didn't see that. My husband seen it, was like, "This is where you want to be?" I was like, "Yes." I was like, "This is amazing." And he's just like, "Okay." And I seen all the potential and everything. And then once I graduated cosmetology school, I was like, okay, I think Kim Kimball was really big. She still is really big, but she was really like on TV and stuff like that. So my goal was to get in her salon on Sunset and do all these things or whatever. But I only had a Florida cosmetology license. I didn't have a California license. So I wasn't able to do that. And I was like, you know what? I think I know what I want to do in my career. And that's when I started thinking, and I started working at Eden by Eden Sassoon in Beverly Hills on Sunset, and was just trying to make connections that way. And then I just kind of told them what I wanted to do, and they supported me. And then things just kind of slowly happened. But in the first year was the hardest year. I was like, oh, is this really going to happen? Do I need to move back to Florida? But it still wasn't in my mind to be like a business owner. I just really wanted to do hair for production and film.
So what was the move? So here we go. You did it work?
It kind of did, yeah. So I still want to work for production and film. That is the ultimate goal. But I'm making those connections and stuff still. But so we started over in Beverly Hills, and I wanted to braid hair. I knew I wanted to bring braiding more to like the big screen or whatever, because I was just like, it's an artistic expression, and all that good stuff. So I was like, I really want to bring that to the screen. So I was like, what can I do? I was like, let me just start braiding. But over here, nobody was doing any kind of braids. I didn't see anybody wearing braids. Everybody was wearing weaves. So I was just like, okay. So I would travel back and forth to Florida, and I would braid my clients there, and I would come here and I would post the pictures as if I'm doing it over here. That worked. And I ended up getting someone they got canceled on, and she just hit me and was like, hey, can you do my hair? And I was like, sure. So she liked her hair, and I started getting referrals off of her. Now I'm in a full like Beverly Hills salon, right? Upstairs, and my clients will walk in and they're like, is Tuki here? And I'm like, hey girl, I'm up here at the top. Come on up here. And they're like, Tuki up there. And they came, and I want to say I was at that salon for maybe a year, but I want to say 6 months in is when I started doing more braid styles and stuff, and I made enough to be able to leave and go to Salon Republic and open up my first suite. And I was like, and that's when I really kind of got into like, okay, this is kind of happening. All right, like I'm able to really do this or whatever. And that's when I came out as Natural Hair Flows. So that was my first business name, was Natural Hair Flows. And I just was doing the same thing, doing creative styles and just doing people hair, putting myself out there. And people would just hit me up on Instagram. And I feel like Instagram, I wasn't doing TikTok at the time, but Instagram was like my biggest platform, trying to get out there or whatever. And people just seen my work and they loved it, and they just came. And I think just because I'm very like authentic, very just humble, cool Tuki from the country or whatever, and I treat everybody like family, you know what I'm saying? I don't treat nobody any different than you're a celebrity or whatever. I don't care. You come in, you're gonna get the same experience. And I just want you to love your hair, because I still get very very excited and hype about like the styles and stuff I do, especially when I see like my clients like reactions to their hair. They be like, oh my God, it looks so good, and I just carried that with me. And I went from there to another suite, because we went through the whole COVID thing. That was a whole thing. And I went to Phoenix, and then from Phoenix I was like, okay, I love California, but then by that time I had already had my daughter. And I was just like, living this California life is super expensive over here. Do we go back to Florida or do we stay? And we ended up we prayed about it, and we ended up going to Atlanta. We didn't leave to go to Atlanta, like move, but we just went to go look at houses and stuff over there, because I really wanted a home. I really wanted to have my daughter and my kids, future kids, it was just her at that time, to be able to have a home and grow up in a house, backyard, friends, and almost, I wanted her to have the country experience.
Because your country, yeah, no, where we grew up, that did not cost a lot.
Is that?
I laugh. I'm very confused. My mom, when we were looking for her, she was like, I just want your kids to have some grass. And I was like, I don't know if I can afford grass.
Afford grass, yes.
I finally got some grass, and I laugh. I just like, that is not an accomplishment in the South. Grass in Los Angeles is an accomplishment.
Yeah, like if you have grass, you have made it over here, So that was my main thing, and I really just wanted that for her. And I was just like, I don't want to raise her in like an apartment without any kind of backyard or grass, you know. So we went over there and we was looking at houses, and the houses and stuff was beautiful. But then we had a really bad experience. Somebody ended up breaking into like our hotel, stole like my wedding bands and a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, this is a horrible experience. I said, I think that's God saying, take your ass back to California. And I was just like, okay, so we're not coming to Atlanta. And we ended up staying. And that's when I really got into, okay, if I really want to make this work, I need to open up my own salon. I was like, because it doesn't make sense to spend all this money on a suite, and they super expensive when you can have the exact same thing if you know how to do it correctly, and you can have a whole salon. That makes more sense. So that's what I ended up doing. And what was crazy is I would just do everything out on faith at that point. I was just like, well, I want to do that. Well, I kind of want to get a house at the same time, but my husband is a Virgo, so he was just like, nah, we can't get a house and a salon at the same time. I was like, yeah. I was like, why not? Yes, we can. He was just like, that's a lot. And we got a daughter. He was like, that's a lot. I was like, yeah. I was like, push come to shove, if it doesn't work, then we can always get an apartment. Push come to shove, if it doesn't work, the salon, we can always go back to a suite. And I'm like a live on faith type of person, and I just like to try stuff, because if it doesn't work, then at least I can say I tried it. And I got approved for the salon in June, and we got the house approved in July. Wow. And I was like, that's crazy. I was like, how the am I gonna make this happen? But God is really just like ordering my steps. I say, whatever your will is, Jesus, let's do it. And it's just been bliss since then, which is insane.
And here you are with all of the pieces. How did motherhood shape this journey for you? Do you think that having your daughter really, because you said you gotta find her some grass, you gotta make this work, you can't just be lollygagging in a Salon Republic, which for people who don't know, is like an overpriced closet. It's great if you don't want overhead, but it's very expensive.
It definitely is. She just really, I think, because you know, when you're in a relationship, you're just like, okay, but when you start to have children, you start to look at things differently. And I was just like, how can I make this work for her? And I was like, I don't want to just go into something blindly, but I do want to just make sure I have something set up for myself. So I was just like, I don't know. I think something just kind of clicked when I had my daughter. I really do. It's so hard to explain, because once you have kids, it's a different type of love, and you want to be able to give them everything and not have to struggle. And I think that just kicked me into overdrive to be like, you need to do this and stop being lazy, because I'm a procrastinator. So I was just like, okay, I need to do this and I need to do that. I need to get it done. And then when I done, I felt very accomplished, because I was like, damn, I could have been did this, but I think she just motivated me to do it because I know I want it for her.
And you also know you have them bills.
Yes.
Because nothing,
you want a certain type of lifestyle. Yeah.
Well, Los Angeles childcare, Los Angeles after school, Los Angeles doctor visits, Los Angeles everything. Everything. Yeah.
What
was the moment you got all these pieces that it all really started to gel? That your vision for yourself, your enthusiasm, your husband's blind faith in Tuki. Yes. What was the moment where it all started to just say, yes, it's all coming together now?
I think it was the day of the grand opening. Because I think I was scared. When I opened it, I was like, okay, I gotta make this work regardless, right? So I got the place, we put it together. I think we put it together within 3 months. So I was like, I want to go ahead and do it instead of wasting time. I don't want to procrastinate. If I want to do something, I want to get it done.
And this was late 2023, right? This was like fall of 2023.
Yes, it was. I want to say we started doing it in like June or whatever, and I want to say the grand opening was in September.
And your daughter was just like one.
She was like one. Yeah, wow. She was one. Yeah, her birthday's in December, so yeah, she was like one and some change. So it was the day of the grand opening. I remember we were going through. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do kind of small, and I started inviting people. Whatever, just sending them like little invites and stuff. I was like, nobody's gonna come. I was like, nobody's gonna come. Maybe like my mom, them outside of that. But when everybody showed up, I was so like, oh my God, people really like support me. And I think that's one thing that I really have. Like, I don't give myself enough credit for the things that I've done, because I feel like I want to reach a certain height in my career, and I don't feel like I've been there yet. But I also am very thankful for everything that's happened in my life and within my career, that I just be so blindsided that people are really like supporting me and doing stuff, you know what I'm saying? And that they love what I do. So when people started to show up for the grand opening, and people had we did speeches, they did speeches. I was like, y'all like me? Oh my God, this is amazing. like, I'm really doing it. And everybody was like, I'm so proud and this and that, whatever. I definitely think that this was like the day that I was just like, damn, okay, like I actually did this. Like, this is where I'm going. This is what it's going to be. And that was my aha moment of like, this is going to work. I have the support. Yes.
And I'm so glad that you threw that party. So many of us don't have these opportunities to see. And I think all of us who are ambitious, especially those of us who have families, and we're family first, but we're also human, right?
Yes.
But when you have these events, like I just had a book party, and I was the same way. I was like, oh my god! I mean, then everyone was really nice. I was like, oh, okay,
yes, right.
A friend of mine says because when you're constantly raising the bar, you don't feel like you've accomplished anything.
Yes.
But like you accomplish your dreams. You have the salon. Yeah. It's gone well. You have this amazing grand opening. And then you also start really doubling down on social media.
Yes. Yes. I definitely started doing the social media more. I was doing it before, but then I was just like, okay, I really need to take it seriously and treat it almost like a job. Make sure you record and do this and that. And I think I had an aha moment with that too, because I took off, I want to say maybe like 2 months of not posting, and I could see how that affected my business. I was like, okay, I need to make sure I post every day. I need to make sure I record, because when you're out of sight, you're out of mind. And I tell everybody that. They're like, how did you do this and how did you do that? I say social media. Social media is your best friend. It's like your modern day newspaper. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be out there, if you want people to see your work, it doesn't matter if you have 200 views or 1,000 views. It does not matter. Show up for yourself every day, and social media is the first place that you can do that, because it's worldwide.
Especially for a business like yours, because even if you only get 50 views, if 2 people see that and want to be a customer, that's profit right there.
Exactly. You have to take yourself seriously. You have to put yourself out there. If you don't, then, you just have to set yourself up for success. Definitely, for sure. Social media has been my best friend since I opened the salon. Especially
that's how I met you.
Especially with my creative mind or whatever, being able to put it on social media, actually put it into my salon, like how my salon looks. When we did the whole rebrand from Natural Hair Flows to Tookie Did It, that was my main thing. I was like, how am I gonna stand out from everybody else? I want when my work comes up, or if you see somebody, you could be like, oh, Tookie did that. You know what I'm saying? Or that's Tookie's salon. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, they see the T and they like, oh, I know that artist. You know what I'm saying? So all of that went into play when we opened the salon, when we rebrand and we did everything. So yeah.
That's interesting, because sometimes people get really stubborn and they do not want to rebrand. You already had the sign, you already had the business cards, you already done told everybody it was Natural Hair Flows. When did you realize that you just had to make that change ASAP?
I feel like the Natural Hair Flows was cute, and that's kind of what I came out here with. But I wanted something. I think I took a business class, and they said that you need to brand yourself to where you can find it over all platforms. Make it easy for people to find you. You know what I'm saying? And nothing too hard. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted. I was like, I like Natural Hair Flows. I was like, but that's something that when I first started, but in the season that I am now, I need to have something else. But something that's going to stick, and something that's not hard for everybody. Something that's kind of easy. And I was like, well, what is it? What do people say? Or, you know what I'm saying? When they get their hair done, what's like my hashtag, Tookie Did My Hair. And I was like, oh, I kind of like Tookie Did It. So when somebody asks you, who did your hair? You can say Tookie Did It. And you can just put in Tookie and my stuff will pop up. I said, bam, that's it. So Tookie Did It, TDI, and the T, right? And when we did the rebrand, it just felt so good. And I was like, all right. I was like, I want the rebrand to feel energetic, and I wanted to feel creative. So we made sure we put that into like the font, the text, the name of all our products and stuff, and just the flow of the salon, if that makes sense. So my T, it's a T, but then my daughter, because she was motivating me, it's a T with a dot, because that's how I was signed. And the dot is a flower, because her name is Bloom. So the people who know me and they know I have a daughter, they're like, oh, when they see that, they're just like, oh, that's Tuki. You know what I'm saying? So, and then how, because I love to do designs and stuff, like, I'm pretty sure you've seen the designs, the braided body and stuff. So the intricacy of like the text of like the Tookie Did It, when you see it, you see all the curves and stuff. All that's supposed to represent like creative braiding, curves, designs, and just enthusiasm.
I love this, and I love you so much because you make this seem so effortless, like, oh, it just popped out of nowhere. You took a class. You
Yeah.
invested in yourself. What made you
Mhm.
take a business class?
I just wanted to elevate myself and really know, because I feel like when you go into certain stuff, it's easy to just get like a logo. It's easy to get a logo and just get a name and put it on social media and be like, this is it. But I really know I wanted to take myself to the next level and do things that I haven't done before. So I was like, let me just take a business class and just see, you know what I'm saying, on the business side, what's happening or whatever. And I was like, I know it's not going to be something that I stay in, as far as like, I'm the creative and I'm going to build me a team and they're going to do the business, you know, but I just really wanted to know. I was very curious, and I was like, the first thing that they said was the easiest thing that you can do is put your name everywhere. So when somebody put in Tookie Did It, all your socials pop up, your email pops up, your website pops up. Make it easy for people to find you. And that was the number one thing that he gave us in there. So I was like, I think me taking that business class was like, okay, bam. And then because I know so many people come get their hair done, I always took the opportunity to build rapport with them. So the girl who built like my website, she's a client. Everybody's a client.
Did you trade? Because that's the best thing. I personally think that a mompreneur, the best thing you can do is create a trade. Did you trade hair for website?
Yes, I did.
Exactly. Free 99. Everybody wins. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, so just having those conversations and then doing trades and stuff with certain people. And then, of course, you have to invest in yourself and do it once you get into it. So once I talked to her and stuff, the trade was, once you talk to her and stuff, you got everything going or whatever. But, when we did like our photo shoots and stuff, I would always offer, hey, do you want to get your hair done? They'd be like, hell yeah. I'll take some braids and I'll do this for you or whatever. So that was pretty cool, being able to use my gift for that. But
So here's the thing. So here you are with your great branding.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to go viral with your work ethic. You did the work ethic to do the business consulting to get the right name. You did the work ethic to start posting on social media. And then you just start going viral all the time. What was the moment that you realized, oh my God, like my creations are TikTok famous?
Like TikToking. Okay, I want to say the first thing I did that I was like, okay, I really want to do this was the braided French roll. And
yes, I remember that. That was so exciting. Oh my gosh, yes.
But I remember having the idea. I was just like, because we did my braided summer campaign with us a bunch of 90s. It was like rebranding or like just recreating those 90s styles, but with braids. Because I hadn't really seen it done before. So I was just like, oh, let me do that for our campaign this year. We was just trying something, just doing something. And I was like, oh, I want to do a braided finger wave. I want to do a braided French roll, braided pin-up curl. And then I think the baldy too. So I was just like, okay. And I think that came right before we did that. And I was like, let me just try something. And I think I put it out on social media. I did a video. I was like, hey y'all, I want to see somebody do the braided French roll. I was trying to give other people the creative opening to try, just putting my idea out there. Like, let's see it. But nobody did it. I was like, why ain't nobody did it? I was like, okay, well, I guess let me try it. And I did that. And that went viral on Instagram. And then everybody loved it. And I was just like, okay. And it wasn't until the braided baldy came about. And it wasn't even called the braided baldy or the braided bald head. People was making fun of my little accent. It was like the braided bald head.
I remember.
Like, oh my God,
I love braided baldy. I feel like Judy is the one that coined that. But like, I'm with the braided bald head. Braided bald head.
Yes. So a girl ended up coming in from, I think she came in from Atlanta or something. I'm not sure. People be flying in. So she came in to get her hair done. She came to get design braids, right? And I did her first design on the side because she gave me creative freedom to just do whatever. And I was like, okay. And she was like, what are you gonna do? I said, I don't know. I was like, but I've done this one zigzag, but I kind of want to do something different. And then she was like, what you want to do? I was like, I'm not sure. So we just started scrolling Instagram and we seen this one creator. She did something kind of similar to it or whatever, but she had, it wasn't one, I don't think it was one consistent braid. I think it was just a bunch of braids, but it was up kind of off of the neck. And I had been doing people's hair very similar, but putting it into like a little ball and like sticking it underneath. And I was like, let me just try it. And she was like, okay. And I did hers and it turned out beautiful. And then the next day, the girl who I usually do braid her hair and put it in a little ponytail, she was like, oh, I seen what you did. I want something similar. I said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one consistent braid all over your head. And then I'm going to sew it at the end. So it's just one braid on your head. And she was like, okay, as long as you put a heart in there, That's all that mattered. I said, okay. And I did it. And I was like, oh, this is cute. I kind of like this. Okay. And I was like, oh, we got to give it a name. And she was like, what we going to call it? I said, I don't know. It looked like a brain, a bald, or something. Like your head is bald, but it's like braided. So like the braided bald head. Like you a braided bald head. That's how I came up with the name. And I was like, okay, I like the braided bald head or like the braided baldy. So that's how I would say it on the what's name. But at first I was just hitting like the braided bald head, or the braided baldy or whatever. And I posted it and I did not expect it to go as big because it went worldwide. So I want to say it was either later that day or the next day. People started calling me and it was like, Tuki, do you know this girl or whatever? Because it hit Facebook and stuff too. And I was like, no, who? And it was like, she's talking about your style. And I was like, what style? And it was like the braided bald head, the one that you just did. And I was like, is she saying something bad about it? And she was like, no, she's just asking everybody's opinion. Like, how do y'all feel about this new style and this and that? Because to me, it wasn't new. To me, it was just like a
iteration of what you've been doing.
Of stuff that we had did like back in the day. I used to do stuff like that all the time, or do it just across the head. You know, I'm a 90s baby, so we used to do designs and all the time. So to me, I was just like, okay, well, it's cute. You know, I haven't seen anybody recently doing it, but I didn't think I created anything. So I was just like, okay, so people liking it. And then it went viral on TikTok. And once it went viral on TikTok, I was like, okay. And then it started hitting like different what did it hit? It hit different socials. It went worldwide. It was in so many different places. People were talking about it. I was just like, oh, like y'all really like this little style. And then you had people who didn't like it, of course. But I was like, if you put it on or if you get it, you'll like it, you know. And I think that's when I was just like, oh wow, okay, I'm thinking I can do stuff because I have ideas and stuff all the time, but I be thinking nobody's gonna like it. So I'd be like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm like, or I'm not gonna put it out there. And most of the times it'd be the ones that I don't like or the ones that I'm kind of iffy on or the ones that kind of go viral.
I love that. And that's a great example to don't doubt yourself, right?
Yeah.
And to just put it out there.
Just put it out there. You never know.
And it's just the creative spirit. And it's just how great. And we're all 90s babies. That's why we love you so much. It's just like you are speaking to our soul. It is wonderful. Now, here's the thing. One thing that people always want to know is, did you profit off of this? Did your books get filled up? Or was it more just kind of like good vibes advertising?
It was just good vibes and advertising. I didn't
Which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Because you went viral. People are coveting the style. They're doing their own braided bald head. You created a movement, which is valuable in itself. But I think one thing that you've been really good at is understanding the game. And maybe I'm not making money directly off that. But how have you shifted to make sure that all of your incredible creations, you're getting paid at least indirectly in some kind of way?
I just make sure to, especially when I put it on social media and stuff now, is to make sure that I put my watermark and stuff over it. So even if I'm not getting paid, y'all know who did it. Y'all know who not really started it, but y'all know where the creativity kind of came from. And when you see it, the first thing you say is, did Tookie do it? Did Tookie did it? You know what I'm saying? I think the most recent was, who is it? A$AP Rocky. He was just on the Met or whatever. And I seen this house like, oh, he rocking a baldy. But his braider is amazing. She does his braids and stuff all the time. But it looked like he had like a finger wave baldy. And I was like, that's amazing. It was crazy. A lot of people were like, Tookie, did you do his hair? I said, I didn't do it. But I love that they see me within the style. And I think that was one of the main things that I wanted when I first kind of came into it, coming into California, is like, I want to be known. I almost want to be like a household name. I want people to see certain stuff or see styles and think of me, you know?
Well, we do. You are incredible.
So with my designs and stuff that I kind of come up with now, I kind of make sure that when I want to be like super creative, I do it with a purpose. So like we have my new summer braided campaign coming up. So a lot of people are like asking questions like, do you have anything else? Or what do you want to do? Or you're setting the trends and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, I got some stuff coming, but I can't tell y'all. Y'all got to wait. So I got to make sure that we set ourselves up for success, because the baldy was in Vogue, British Vogue. It was in American Vogue. It was in Essence. We did a bunch of different interviews for a bunch of different like magazine companies and stuff. And I was just like, y'all really like this style. When Vogue called, I was in the hair store crying. I was like, oh my God.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yes, because I was just like,
and we all want you to continue this trajectory, right? And that's one of the reasons why I'm really glad that when you open, and here's the thing, what I think you've done really well, because you've only been having your own salon fewer than 3 years, right? Like it hasn't even been 3 years, and you've done so well already. because one of the things that individual creators have a problem with is only two hands that can do them braids. So what you're doing is by creating the salon, you're creating a lot of opportunities. You already knew you wanted to have a product line. Also, one of the things people need to understand is you have an ebook, which is a great opportunity to understand your story, and also for you to not have to actively make income. It's a passive income, while at the same time providing a service.
Yes. So we ended up so I've had the idea of doing it for a while. A lot of people ask me, do you have classes? Do you have this? Do you have that? How did you start this? How did you get to where you are? And I was just like, you know what? Maybe just create something so people can easily assess it or whatever, and they can just get the whole story and they can just follow my blueprint. I think that was my main thing too, is creating a blueprint for people to make it easier than what it is. It shouldn't be hard. You know what I'm saying? And my goal is for them to get that and to be successful.
I'm so glad you have told us that your goal is to get a production TV and film, because we've had a bunch of mompreneurs in TV and film. We just gonna slide you right on in there and get going, because I think that's really smart, and I think that anybody, and I think it's one of those things you wouldn't know from your socials.
I think that's why we doing the my little braided summer campaigns. That's almost like my way of being in like production and film, because we can bring whatever we want to like the screen. So we're doing something completely different this year than we did last year. Last year we did like the 90s and stuff, and people were saying like, oh, it looks like a little mini commercial and this and that. So that's for a way for me to be creative with like hair and braids and all the kind of stuff, and bring it to a screen so it looks like either a commercial or a little mini movie and stuff like that. So it's almost like I'm putting myself where I want to be, but doing it my way and putting it out on social so people can see it. So hopefully it'll attract the right people, because us doing that last year was just us just kind of playing around, being like, okay, let's do something fun. But we got Vogue off that, we got Essence off that, we got Fenty off that, we got Sacred off that, we got so many different things off of us. Just let's just put something together. So it's like God is saying, hey, that's where you're gonna be. This is what I'm putting into you. So keep doing that and you'll get that good climb in it, you know? So this year we're keeping the momentum going and we're doing something else, and hopefully it soars for sure.
You gonna be braiding somebody on some screen by this time next year, okay? We got you. Mompreneurs community is in the house. I'm so excited for you. Because we're Southern and excited about life. We seem like everything is hunky-dory. It's not always. This is hard. I mean, we're doing the do, but behind the scenes, it can be difficult sometimes. What's been the most challenging aspect of your growth?
Just making sure, just making sure you keeping up the momentum, and making sure I'm paying what I'm supposed to be paying, and just doing what I'm supposed to be doing behind the scenes, if that makes sense. Like being in front is all handy dory, like how we said, but behind the scenes, like business wise, making sure you're paying certain stuff and just keeping up with pretty much I think the business aspect is just making sure everything is lined up how you need it to be lined up or whatever, paying your taxes, making sure you got all your business license and all this kind of stuff, just making sure all that stuff is together and set, because you know how you have to renew and do this and that every year or so or whatever, to make sure everything is okay. But I think that's the hardest thing. But outside of that, I've given myself a team to be able to handle a lot of that stuff for me. I think one main thing that I've realized, because I used to try to do everything myself, and I think that was my downfall, trying to do everything myself, because I was just like, it's hard to trust people with your business, with your baby. Like this is like my little baby before I had my daughter or whatever. So trusting people to handle those things for me, and creating a team, I think that was probably the hardest, is like giving up that power and just being like, Tuki, this is your business, but this is what you're good at. You can pay somebody for the convenience of this, if you know what I'm saying, if you find the right person. And I think that was probably the hardest thing. But yeah.
But it's hard, or it's not happening, because now you a mama too. You got a newborn, girl.
Yes. It's still hard, but I got me a nice little team. You know, if I say something, I'm like, hey, I hit them up real quick, like, hey, can you do this, and this? And they're like, yeah, sure, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm able to, you know what I'm saying? I am very blessed to even be able to do that, to be able to have a team to call to be like, can you set up this or do that, or do this or do that? And then I can relax and I can be with my babies, you know? And I think me having Bloom pushed me to get to that, because I always wanted to be, but I didn't know how to do it. But once I had her, it pushed me to be like, okay, you need to create this, and this. You need to set this up for yourself so you can be able to relax and do this. Because I don't always want to be behind the chair doing hair. Like I love doing hair, but I don't want to always be doing hair. I want to be able to still make money, passive income and stuff, but be able to be with my kids. And I think that was my biggest thing for sure.
How does your husband feel about all this?
Oh my God. Like, he is my biggest supporter. And I be like doubting myself, like, oh, people not gonna like it, or I'm okay. And he'd be like, Monteria. He was like, you need to give yourself more credit. And he's my biggest fan. He's always right there. He always gives me the best advice. He loves me so much, and he just really hypes me as well. And he tells me how proud he is of me all the time, because we literally came out here with nothing. We came out here with $0, no jobs. I got the job as not even as doing hair. I got a front desk job. I was like, I will come in and I would do whatever. I just need to.
But that's how it works, and you have to do that. You got to do the front desk. Did you become the shampoo girl?
Sure did.
Yeah.
Sure did.
See, what people don't realize is Tuki, I think you are a great mompreneur for so many reasons. Number one, you understand the assignment. You don't get to start at the top. Everything I've ever done, I have started. Like, even when I started doing film and TV commercials and stuff like that, from the actual perspective, start off with the $1,000 non-union questionable video game commercial, and then you move up to something else and move up. You went from front desk girl to shampoo girl and to
assistant. To finally, but then I was an assistant, but they wouldn't let me do hair or anything in there until I got my California license. So I had to go back to school over here. So I was like, I gotta go back to school. I'm not gonna be able to work. How are we gonna pay bills? Because at this time, I was maybe like 2 months in, and Brandon still didn't have a job. So we literally only had enough money to pay. So I was like, what am I do? And they really liked me at the salon. They was like, well, Tuki, just go do your hours and stuff, and then when you're done, we'll just keep the salon open longer for you to be able to make money to pay your bills. I swear to you. And I was just like, what? And it was like, yeah, we want you to be able, we're not going to fire you, but we want you, we believe, because when I got there, I told them I'll do whatever to get in, but I told them what my dreams, goals, and aspirations were, and they believed in me. And it was like, okay, we want you to do that or whatever. So when I told them I had to go back to school, they was like, go to school. So I went to school 4 or 5 times a week over in Crenshaw, and then I would go back to Beverly Hills at 5 o'clock, and I would stay there till maybe like 8 or 10. Then I would finish doing whatever, clean up, and they would pay me. And I did that for maybe like 6 to 8 weeks until I got my California license. Once I got my California cosmetology license, they allowed me to do hair. That's when I started doing haircuts, hair color, and all that kind of stuff in there. And that's when I started going back and forth to Florida, doing my braids there, but then saying that I was doing them over here to get my clientele. Working at I think I was at the braid bar. I was doing a braid bar over at like Soul Cycle. I was at Blow Dry Bar. Anything that was happening, I was like, put me there. When Coachella was coming, we had people come in. I was doing braids up in the front. Like, yeah, I literally was hustling every little way. I don't care what it was. You want me to do this? I'll do it. I'm always recording too. That was my main thing, recording every single thing that I did. So when I can put it on social, because I only had maybe 1,000 followers on like Instagram when we first got over here. I didn't care how many was on there. 1,000 people. That's 1,000 people. That's a lot of people. I was always posting, and I would hashtag and this and that, and I would record, and I would have them record me. I was like, can you record me doing this? Can you record me doing that? And they was like, yeah. And I was motivating the people that was in there, because they wasn't doing it, because they started seeing how many people started coming to me. And they was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm just showing up and being present. I was like, I'm taking pictures, I'm taking videos, I'm handing out business cards, I'm walking to the different businesses on Sunset, and I'm like, hey, if you guys ever have any event, if you want like a little braid bar, or if you want this and that, I'm happy to do that in exchange for whatever, you know what I'm saying? I was at Soul Cycle. I would do their like braid bar, and they would give me like Soul Cycle classes because I need to stay in shape, you know? So I was just doing everything that I could, and it just worked in my favor. It's hard work for sure. It don't just happen overnight. Definitely not. And that was 2018.
You need to write a business book, because everything you're doing is what people should do. You use your skills as currency.
Yeah.
You market. You don't take a no. You accept the mentorship.
Yep.
You accept the front desk position, understanding the assignment, and and in turn they probably lost money on you. They just believe in you that much for those 8 weeks for you to be able to go to cosmetology school. They wanted you to stay afloat.
Yeah.
You are better in real life than on social media. The depth of your tenacity. I mean, it's amazing. You must write a book. I'm telling you, because this is very important to hear. It's very inspirational. It is entirely doable. And that's not to say it was all perfect, right? I mean, there have been some challenges.
It's definitely been challenges when things aren't going your way or you kind of doubt yourself. But I think my main thing, especially that my husband keeps me in or whatever, is prayer. And we're Christians, so we pray all the time. And our main thing is you can't live in faith and fear. You have to pick one or the other. You know what I'm saying? And we're God believers. So I always try to live in faith. So when I'm doubting myself or if something's not going the way I want it to go, I'm like, okay, God, what is the lesson in what you're trying to show me right now? Because if it's not happening, it's not happening for a reason, right? It's not happening because I'm a failure. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to get a bunch of L's before you get an S or whatever. So I'm just like, tell me the lesson or teach me the lesson, open my eyes so I can see what's happening. Let me not think of it as a loss, but as a lesson, right? And if I'm doubting myself, I'm like, don't doubt yourself. Something is going to happen out of this. You just don't know. If this small door is closing or if it's something I really want and I'm pushing for it and it doesn't happen, I'm like, that's because God got something greater for me. So I'm going to be like, it's okay that it didn't happen. It's okay because we can't change the past. You can't change that it didn't happen. I can move forward and I can do better and I can push harder and I can take what I've learned from this and make it better. And I think that has been a big key in my success as well. It's just having faith that my life is going to go the way God has planned it. And he doesn't give you those visions and these talents or whatever for nothing. He has already written my story and I just need to follow his path to it.
I love that. You're incredible. And our time is almost up, but I cannot let you leave without participating in my favorite segment called Mompreneurs Manifestation. And I ask all of our moms what you're trying to make happen for the future and how we can help to bring it into the universe for you.
I think my main thing is how I was saying I want to get in production and film. So if you need me in any type of way in the creative, I do creative direction, and then the creative braids, any kind of inspiration and stuff. Just spread my name. Just say, oh, Tookie did it. Tookie can do this or Tookie can do that. So you can always just share my story or just share the stuff that you've seen that you like on my page or that you know that I can do, or you know what I'm saying, something like that. You can share it and just spread it that way and just let them know that Tookie can do it because Tookie did it.
I'm on it. Genuinely, I'm on it. I'm going to connect you to another mompreneur who is in the industry as makeup person, and it all works out. So I'm very excited for you. You are incredible. Thank you for bringing joy to our feeds and bringing joy to our little entrepreneurial hearts. You are a hustler. You deserve a Gold Star Hustle Award.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
And you over here with this energy, and you have a tiny baby. Where is the baby right now?
He is downstairs with dad. He's so small, but he chunky too, because he only like 6 weeks. So he like my little chunky baby. I always say, I want me little fat chunky baby with like these little big cheeks and stuff. And God delivered. I was like, look at him. He's so cute. He's so adorable, because we didn't know what we were having. We was like, you know what? We're just going to let it be a surprise like we did with my daughter. And when he popped out, I was like, oh, wow. We have a boy and a girl now. I was like, okay. And he's like my little chunky, little lovable thing. And then Bloom loves him. She thinks that's her baby. So
I'm so happy for all of you. Make sure to tell everyone, Tuki, where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me at Tookie Did It across all socials. TOOKIE did it. Tookie Did It.
And you can also get her ebook and learn more about her at TookieDidIt.com, right?
/ebook. Yep. TookieDidIt.com /ebook. You can find me on there, TookieDidIt.com, and then Tookie Did It over all socials.
Amazing. So thank you so much for being here and being a phenomenal inspiration. I can't wait to see what you're going to create next. And also, how you going to make money off of it.
You know what I'm saying? It's coming. Stay tuned. Keep on watching.
And thanks to all of you for listening to and watching Mompreneurs. As a reminder, a brand new episode goes live every Monday on Urban One Podcast Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Visit urban1podcast.com to learn more. That's urban1podcast.com.